Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
So, Rachel, there's a lot going on with the housing market. We're seeing some trends. You've got some input on it, so I'm going to let you take this and drive it on home.
Yes, there's, I would say good towards the consumer when it comes to mortgages. So we are seeing a trend that mortgage rates are going down and they're expected to keep dropping in 2025. So rates on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage fell to 6.12% in late of 24, and they keep decreasing. And they're not going to go back to, 2 to 3% rates like they had pre-pandemic, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not coming anytime soon. But again, we're continuing to see it drop, which we love.
Mortgage rates have dropped, so if you're thinking about buying a home in the next year, contact your local Churchill mortgage team right now. If you wait, more people will be in the market competing for the same homes and potentially driving up prices. Churchill will help you do the math to be sure your budget is correct, making your home a blessing and helping you build lasting wealth. Learn more at churchillmortgage.com. churchillmortgage.com.
Housing prices, they're staying pretty steady. And again, they might level off, but with the low inventory, it's kind of keeping that stable. And so they're not going to expectedly drop drastically. So it's still this idea, if you're on the sidelines and you're ready to buy a house, this whole idea of there's a bubble, it's going to pop, I'm going to get a great deal. It's probably not going to happen. They are pretty consistent. And the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation even predicts modest price growth in 2025. So values will continue to rise. Inventory is slowing. So inventory grew 29.2% in 2024 compared to the previous year. Now, it is still below average or pre-pandemic levels, and more homes are on the market to give buyers more options, and sellers still have the upper hand in most areas as demand.
Little by little, it's getting better.
Exactly. Buyer demand could rise. So if interest rates keep dropping, then obviously there's going to be more competition.
That's right.
People are going to get back into the market to buy. Foreclosures will stay low. Foreclosures declined 13% in 24, and this trend is expected to continue in 2025. Again, they're rare out there. If you can find a good one, that's great, but they're pretty rare still. So some of the takeaways for what we're seeing in the housing trending in 2025 is for buyers. So if you're looking to buy with rates trending down and inventory improving, you might find more opportunities to get into the market, and you may have some more options when it comes to housing. But again, do not overspend. When you go to the mortgage company and to get a mortgage, they're going to offer you way more than what you need. So stay within your budget. If you are selling, this is still your market, and homes are priced fairly. If they are priced fairly, they're going to still sell pretty quickly. And again, for everyone, you can't wait for the perfect time for the housing market. It's the perfect time when it's the perfect time for you. So if you don't have debt, you have an emergency fund in place, and you have at least a 5% down payment, go ahead and get in. Because again, the housing values, the price of houses are not going down. You're not going to go get a deal next year. They are the same, if not modestly increasing. So the value of our homes is still going up.
Which truly is good news, because these are investments for us, and we want them to be going up. Even if you're not in the housing market yet, that's a good sign for all of us. But Rachel, you made a really good point, because when you go into this, you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know what your parameters are, because they will, the lenders will allow you to borrow sometimes up to 50%, maybe even more of what you're taking home. And so just because they say you're approved, that is not your signal to go, all right, everything's all good.
A banker says, I can afford this. That's a red flag, people. You need to control that on your own end. And it is wild when we think about it, because, and I know we all remember, because it was just a few years ago, when prices just skyrocketed up. Remember that? And there were some hot areas that were significantly overpriced, and they did kind of come down. And, even last year was kind of this correction. Austin, Texas was one. We saw some markets do that. But I remember being on the show, 2 years ago, and Dave and all of us were saying, there's not a big bubble, you guys. Because some people were saying that.
It's just this.
It's going to be like 2009, and there's going to be foreclosures everywhere and all of this. And it's like, no, it's going to stay. And again, it may correct. It may kind of go back down a little bit to correct. But it is going to be what it is. And it has stayed there, Jade. I mean, it is wild.
I'm not mad at it.
Now as a homeowner.
I'm not. I mean, think about it. Because this is the thing. Like, if you're on the sidelines right now, you're definitely on feeling some type of way because you're like, man, I wanted to get in on the market.
Yes.
But it's good news for all of us because it tells us that like the market is still strong and that things are doing well. And when you do get in, you're going to want your property to appreciate as well.
That's right.
I mean, Sam and I, South Florida was one of those hot areas. And when we got our first house was around $400,000 and it doubled when I'm like, thank you. It made me a baby steps millionaire. Like, this is what we want to happen.
Yes,
and so it's one of those things that when you're not in the housing market yet, it can feel so frustrating. But once you get in, you're like, yes, like I'm finally part of it. And you want to see it ticking up. And
That's right.
Yeah, good things. So
good.
Did we tell them to go to the...
Oh, no. Yeah. You need to go to RamseySolutions.com/real estate. And we do have a U.S. housing market trends. It's honestly right there on the front home screen. So if you are curious about what's going on in the real estate market and you want to see facts, and we pull these from reputable sources. This isn't just opinions out there. These are actually what's going on in the housing market. And it is something people are watching and want to know, hey, what is going on? Because you do hear a lot of either doom and gloom or overhyped here. I mean, so just to get the reality of what's really going on in the housing market, make sure to go to RamseySolutions.com/real estate. And for all of your real estate needs, if you are looking to buy and sell, use one of our Ramsey trusted real estate agents because they will help you in this area. And it's a big deal, you guys. Your house is, for most people, the largest purchase you make.
Oh, yeah.
And to your point, the largest investment when it comes to it appreciating and all of that. So,
and they help you do it the Ramsey way. Because, when we were moving here, the way we do things the Ramsey way is not necessarily the way they do things out in the world. And so it's like, I remember making an offer on a house here and I was like, it's got to be contingent. Like, we've got to sell that house so that we have, it can't, we're not going to be one of those people who takes out a bridge loan. It's great to work with a Ramsey trusted person because they know that. You don't have to explain all that to them. They get it. They're not going to,
they don't think
take you to task on it. Exactly. So it's so important to do things the Ramsey way.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.